Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And if you don't think that, you're insane. These kids that are saying nowadays that Aaron Rodgers is one of the most overrated players in NFL history, I'm sorry, but you just don't know football. It's absolutely ridiculous to think this, and it frustrates me every time I see one of those comments or replies on our page. It just annoys the shit out of me because just look at this play. But I'm not going to be talking about Aaron Rodgers. Actually, I am going to be talking about Aaron Rodgers this entire video, but I'm not going to be talking about Aaron Rodgers as a player. I'm going to be talking about the end of Aaron Rodgers' career. Now, if you guys are living under a rock, you may not know that the Packers ended up selecting quarterback Jordan Love in the 2020 NFL Draft this year, and it caused a stir, to say the least.
Jordan Love, quarterback, Utah State.
Me?
This guy better make my tits hard the first time I see him in the preseason.
Disgusted, he should feel insulted, and as far as I'm concerned, if I was Aaron Rodgers, I'd ask to be traded.
God damn it!
So everyone assumed they were probably going to take a receiver.
But Aaron Rodgers did indeed have a press conference the other day, and I'm not going to be going through everything he said, but there's one or two things I really want to focus on in this video. One being that he said that he really wants to go into his 40s.
I still believe in myself and have a strong desire to play into my 40s. And
now, will that happen? I don't know. It really depends on how he keeps up. But that really throws a wrench in the timetable for when Jordan Love could come in. With how typical rookie quarterback contracts work, teams nowadays want to maximize those deals. You saw it with Jared Goff. You're seeing it now with Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Saw it with Russell Wilson back in 2012. These teams are building around rookie quarterback contracts so that they can build the best roster around them. Now, the case with the Packers right now, Aaron Rodgers is making a huge salary. Jordan Love is going to be under contract for 4 years and then the 5th-year option, which they're going to have to pick up. If you decide to have Rodgers finish out his deal, you only get that 1 year of Jordan Love to fully evaluate him, which just isn't a good idea, especially with it being the 5th-year option, because the 5th-year option costs a lot more than the last 4 years. Now, Matt LaFleur said that he wants Aaron Rodgers to be the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers for as long as he wants to be. And do I believe this? Yes and no. I think he's saying this to say that if Rodgers is still playing at an elite level, that he can be the quarterback. While researching this video, I also came across a little detail that I don't know if it's true or not. I'm not a reporter. Don't think I am a reporter, so just take this with a grain of salt. So I saw that the Packers apparently wanted Brandon Ayuk in the first round of this draft, but San Francisco got word of that, so they traded up in front of them to take Ayuk. And then the Packers took Love because Love was their top player on their board. But they were trying to build around Rodgers, if this is true. Take that as you will. This organization still has faith in Rodgers, so don't think that they're just giving up on him right away. Now, I just really wanted to quickly break down Aaron Rodgers' contract for the next 4 years. So his dead cap hit in 2020, if they were to cut or trade him, is $51 million, which is absolutely ridiculous. So don't expect Rodgers to be off the Packers this year, because it's not happening. In 2021, it is $31 million, so they'd actually save about $5 million if they cut or trade him next year. In 2022, it is $17 million, so they'd save about 20 mil-ish. And then in 2023, it is a $5 million dead cap hit, which saves obviously like $30 million, which is a lot. Also important of note is that Rodgers wants to finish his career in Green Bay.
It does change the controllables a little bit because there are some new factors that are out of my control. And so my, sincere desire to start and finish with the same organization, may not be a reality at this point.
You see all these great legendary quarterbacks like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, and Joe Montana. They're ending their careers with different teams. He more than likely will finish his career with another team. Now that's assuming that if Love actually looks the part. Because I don't think the Packers would prematurely move on from Aaron Rodgers. I think they'd only cut him or trade him or whatever the hell. They'd only move on from him if they thought that Jordan Love was ready and that he looked good and that Rodgers was somewhat falling from grace. All we know is that Aaron Rodgers is the starting quarterback of the Green Bay Packers for 2020. That's the only for sure thing right now, because there, in fact, is a scenario in which he isn't the quarterback in 2021. And I'll be getting to that. So today I decided to break down 5 scenarios in which Aaron Rodgers' career could finish. Now that's with either the Packers or another team or whatever the situation is that ends his career with the Packers, whether it's a split or it's he sticks around. These are all based on the idea that Jordan Love looks good and that he can be the next man up. Because like I said earlier, I don't think the Packers will move on from Rodgers if Love doesn't look good. Because believe it or not, the Packers nearly traded Aaron Rodgers in like 2007 for Randy Moss. Aaron Rodgers wasn't always the plan to be the next man up. They still had faith in Brett Favre despite his numerous retirement threats. This was a luxury pick, plain and simple. If you think you can get your next franchise quarterback at 26th overall in the NFL draft, you do it pretty much every single time. If Aaron Rodgers is still a high-quality starter in the NFL when he's like 40 years old and Jordan Love doesn't look it, you stick with Aaron. It's pretty simple. But with that being said, let's jump right into these 5 scenarios I've laid out. And some of them are a little crazy, but I hope you enjoy them. So the first scenario I've laid out is the happy ending scenario, which is basically Aaron Rodgers finishes out his 4 years in Green Bay and retires a Packer. Maybe the Packers win a couple Super Bowls in there. Who really knows? Now, this isn't ideal for Green Bay because you're only getting that 1 year off the 5th year option, but it is ideal for Rodgers. So I'm saying it's the happy ending for Aaron Rodgers, basically. The second scenario I have laid out is what I like to call the mutual split. Now, the mutual split basically means that the Packers and Aaron Rodgers decide to break up. Love looks really good, or Rodgers is, not thinking that he has a place in this organization anymore. I believe the best case scenario for the mutual split is 3 years. So the Packers get the last, you could argue that Aaron Rodgers has 2 to 3 years left of true elite quarterback play, and then they get to jump right into Jordan Love, and Jordan Love gets 3 years to develop, which is just ridiculous. And then Rodgers gets to pick where he goes to play next. So the Packers really don't have to have a little bump in the road for their quarterback play. They just get to move straight into the new era and hopefully have the next guy up right away. The third one is called the rough split. Now, this isn't saying, oh, the coach and the player are gonna fall out. No, this is if Aaron Rodgers' play falls off a cliff. If he gets worse sooner than expected, whether it be because of injuries, because he has had injuries as of late. In 2017, he had the whole Anthony Barr hit, and then in 2018, he was playing on one leg the entire year. So basically, if Rodgers' play falls off, he really doesn't have that great of trade value, so you're not going to get anything back for him that great. So the Packers basically fall on the bad side of moving on from someone too late rather than too early. And on to the fourth one I have called the Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers are both amazing problem. Now, with this problem, it's basically saying that Aaron Rodgers is still looking like an elite quarterback, and Jordan Love is looking like he's going to be an elite quarterback. The Packers essentially would have to decide who they want to stick with. They could trade Jordan Love for a lot of draft capital, like the Patriots did Jimmy G, but the Patriots scenario was a little different because it was an ownership and front office dispute about who the franchise wanted at quarterback. And Green Bay really doesn't have that problem because they really don't have an owner. So Jordan Love, the pick, it stalls the short term, but it could really help out the long term. So I don't think Love would be traded in this scenario. I think it'd end up being Rodgers. But if both of them are looking great, then that's just good luck to the Packers management on that, because I have no idea how they would handle that. But you could see the situation in which they go for Aaron, like the Packers nearly did back in 2007 with picking Favre over Aaron. And last but not least, we have the fifth scenario, which is the most ridiculous scenario. And I like to call this the Patrick Mahomes situation. So let's say that within 1 year, that Jordan Love looks unbelievable. Complete mental processing has been fixed. His arm talent and raw abilities are just refined as hell. He's looking fantastic, basically. Now, the other if in this scenario is that the Packers somewhat fall short in the playoffs. Now, I don't think it's that hot of a take to say that the Packers are making the playoffs. I mean, they're the clear best team in the NFC North, but besides the point. Because if the Packers make the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, they can't move on from Aaron Rodgers. Their priority is to win a Super Bowl. But if they do end up being the high seed in the NFC divisional round, they get bounced after having a bye to a lower seed, then we could start talking about a disappointing loss. So the Packers in 2021 could trade Aaron Rodgers for high draft capital, which he would bring in. And don't act like he wouldn't. They would immediately plug in Love. Now, they would take on that huge dead cap hit, but that dead cap hit would be huge for them in 2021 and 2022 to pay huge key free agents that they have. Let me just list you the Packers free agents in 2021 and 2022, and you tell me if they need to bring them back. So taking on the dead cap hit in 2021 would give them the flexibility for them to roll over cap space in order to re-sign these key players. They get the great draft capital from Rodgers, and they can bring back guys that they need. I definitely could see a scenario playing out in which the Las Vegas Raiders trade for Aaron Rodgers. It's very possible, believe it or not. I don't see this playing out at all, but it is fun to think about. Just to think that this scenario is possible is just ridiculous in its own right. But all in all, I think the most likely split will be after 2 to 3 years. It makes the most sense from a team building and financial standpoint. But this is the NFL. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins just got traded for a second-round pick in David Johnson. But with all that being said, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please be sure to subscribe to All Sports Culture on YouTube and also like the video while you're at it. Now, I know a lot of you are new. You're from the Mahomes video, and Zach worked really hard on that, and it turned out great. So I hope you all enjoyed that video and you enjoy this content. Also, be sure to follow All Sports Culture on Instagram and listen to Highlighted. Sully and Kurt kill it on there. Thank you all for watching again. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to watch this video. My name's been Sam from All Sports Culture, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks, guys.